Shalom Alaikum, Hevarim, once again. We're here, Lucayan Natsarim Fellowship. I'm trying to get everybody in the shot, so I'm going to have to get up and more people in the shot, so I'm going to get up and adjust the camera in a moment. So don't let that throw you off. But thank you for joining us once again. I am, the moderator or leader of the discussion, Ak Gabriel. To my left, you'll see Ak Nadab. Further on, later on, you'll see Ak Yosa and Ak Obed. We will do our very best, our level best to translate, well, not translate, but deliver an earnest and honest and sincere reading and interpretation of the scriptures that are very clear, concise, and something that you can replicate at home and follow along with us if you wish. Welcome once again. And just as a special treat, we didn't get to do it last time. After I adjust the camera, after I get up to adjust the camera, what I'll do is do a shofar shout, a call to order for all of Israel, a Shema, if you will, with the shofar here, my little smaller shofar I have here. And then we'll come into prayer and have a discussion, and then have a small discussion of what we did last time and move into today's topic of discussion, which is Yehosha, the prophet of promise. All right, let me adjust this camera, see if I can get everybody on there. I'm sorry for that. It's an impromptu nature. All right, it's going to be hard to get everybody on camera, but I did my best. Just move my chair over some more. There we go. We have the flag. There you go. Don't worry about the disembodied voices. When we get better facilitated, I'm sure everyone will become acquainted with the faces that associate with them. All right, and I'll do a call to order, one long shout for all of Israel to assemble. So remember to head out. To gather to head out to battle, which we'll do right now with our tongues as swords and the word of Yahweh. Okay. And now let's come together in silence. Quiet contemplation. Let us see la. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam. Borenu Eloheinu. Kol kohen. Shebet shemayim yitkadesh shemka. Oyah. Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. We come unto you to give you honor and esteem. Here, together, as a fellowship, we, group of your servants, group of men, who wish to be called and understood as Natsarim, who seek to be Kadashim, gather together with those from around the world that choose to join us for one purpose and under one banner. That is the truth, the emet of your word. We seek to hear your voice and feel your ruach enact itself in our lives. Guide us in all that we do and deliver us from the snare of the unrighteous. We ourselves have fallen short, and for those things we ask for you to convict us, to compel us to change for the better, to commit teshuvah, turn and walk in the other direction so that we can then stand as examples to the nations and fulfill the commission given to us by our Moshiach, Yahusha, as he said, to go out into all the nations and make talkments of, immersing them in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and the name of the Ruach HaKodesh. Let us be clean vessels, proper, accurate transmission of your word, your followers and all who seek your truth, the life-giving waters for your word. Hallelujah. Shem Yehosha. Amen. All right. We'll get started. Last time we left off from, we did a little bit of jumping around from Nevi'yim. We went to Bemidbar. We went to the Brit Hadash. And we were establishing just what a prophet is. What is a Nevi'yim? And what are the parameters of a prophet? Did anyone remember what the parameters of a prophet are?
Well, Yah speaks to a prophet by dreams and by visions.
Yes, some of the prerequisites of a prophet. It's someone who Yah speaks to through dreams and visions. Yes? Does Yah always pick a perfect prophet, perfect person to be a prophet? Does Yah speak prophecy through other people who may not know that it's him that are giving them the prophecy?
Yeah.
So we have some instances where, well, Yah may use an unclean vessel for a sturdy or stalwart message. And we compared the donkey, and we didn't get to the witch of Enron, which would have been, actually we can go to that now if you want to. I think it's 1 Samuel, maybe 2 Samuel.
Which chapter it might be.
It's early. When Shemuel died, Shaul was looking. With Shemuel, he went to a witch.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just look it up right here, as I have the capabilities to do so. If anybody else knows that verse in the chat, you can put it right there in the chat if you're watching live. First Shemuel 28. First Shemuel chapter 28. All right. First Shemuel chapter 28. Shemuel had died. Philistines, Shaul saw the army of the Philistines. He was afraid. End of. See? Okay, so let's go from verse 7. You want to read that? Anybody want to read that?
Verse 7 to...
Verse 7, I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay. All right. Then said Shaul unto his servants, Seek me a woman that has a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And the servant said to him, Behold, there is a woman that has a familiar spirit in Endor. And Shaul disguised himself and put on other raiment. And he went, and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night. And he said, I pray you, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto you. And the woman said unto him, Behold, you know what Shaul has done, how he has cut off those that have familiar spirits, and the wizards out of the land. Wherefore then lay you a snare for my life to cause me to die. And Shaul swore to her by Yahweh, saying, As Yahweh lives, there shall no punishment happen to you for this thing. Then said the woman, Whom shall I bring up unto you? And he said, Bring me up Shemuel. And when the woman saw Shemuel, she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spoke to Shaul, saying, Why have you deceived me? For you are Shaul. And the king said unto her, Be not afraid, for what saw you? And the woman said unto Shaul, I saw Elohim ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, What form is he of? And she said, An old man comes up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Shaul perceived that it was Shemuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Shemuel said to Shaul, Why have you disquieted me to bring me up? And Shaul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistine make war against me, and Elohim is departed from me, and answers me no more, neither by prophets, nor by dreams. Therefore I have called you.
I want you to go to 16. What does he say? What does Shemuel say?
Then said Shemuel, Wherefore then do you ask of me, seeing Yahweh is departed from you, and is become your enemy? Yahweh has done to him as he spoke by me. For Yahweh has rent the kingdom out of your hand, and given it to your neighbor, even to David. Because you obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, nor executed his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore has Yahweh done this thing unto you this day. Moreover, Yahweh will also deliver Yasharah with you into the hand of the Philistine, and tomorrow shall you and your son be with me. Yahweh also shall deliver the host of Yasharah into the hand of the Philistine.
Okay, relax. Is this a prophecy?
Yeah.
Is this a prophecy? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Did it come to pass?
It did.
In the same manner that it was given?
It did.
Did it come from Shemuel?
It did not.
It did not. You have small indications as to why this isn't, but overall, a big one is Ecclesiastes, or Kohelet in Hebrew, chapter 9, verse 5. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not, nor do they have any more reward, for their remembrance is forgotten. They don't ache, they don't pine, they don't pain, they have no memory. There's no memory after you dead.
It was the familiar spirit that
There's
spoke
no-
of Shaul.
Aha, the familiar spirit. But this is the thing. A lot of times, and this is just something I'm putting out there for Salah, you know. A lot of times we read familiar spirit and we think of it as a spirit with which we are familiar, or a spirit that is familiar with many of us, right? With which it can impart knowledge over a vast period of time, a disembodied Nephilitic spirit. But suppose her spirit was that of familiarity, in that she was a mentalist. Like most so-called psychics today, when you walk in the room, they read you. They read you. Talk about them, they just read you. And so they know what you want to hear. They know what you want to see. They know what it is to tell you to get that money from you, keep you coming back. You see? Shaul went there to speak to Shemuel. She could perceive this. Do you think that she knew this was Shaul?
Shaul was king.
So do you think that she knew this was Shaul? Is there any indication in the text that she may have known that this was Shaul the whole time?
Yeah.
She said plainly, Shaul said,
Mm-hmm. Well, she was a medium, right?
Yeah.
And Shaul disguised himself, and so she got a customer.
Mhm.
Do you think that she was still Shaul, although Shaul outlawed it? Do you think that she was still performing seances?
if she did it to him, of course.
Of course, she was still doing it.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of thing, like, yo, man, you got any of that stuff? And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You slide your key over the counter, you know what I mean, with the number of the room on the back. It's this turnkey back alley type thing. So she knew it's Shaul. She was making it known. She was aware of the edict.
Mhm.
And what she was doing is stating the law, so that if he went further from it, it would not be because she flouted the law. She made it very clear. Yes?
Yeah.
And you want me to be put to death? Now guess what the guy said? You shall not be put to death. Now what type of man would be able to tell you that you're not going to be put to death? The king ain't going to put you to death. But the king himself. The king ain't do nothing. Don't worry about it. You ain't get that. What's the description of Shaul? Was he a regular looking guy?
Head and shoulder taller than every other Israelite.
Okay.
Not even just his tribe. He was the tallest man
In all of Israel. He's the tallest man in the nation. How inconspicuous do you think he could have made himself?
I don't know if you can't cut 2 inches off his knee, off his legs. So
And for the time, but it sounded like it wouldn't have to be 2 feet. He said it was a full head and shoulders over everybody else. Head and shoulders. Like a foot.
He was giant among
Giant amongst men. And who does she allow him to perceive?
Shemuel.
And what does Shemuel tell him?
The same thing everybody knew Shemuel said.
But the same thing, and not only that he said before he died, but the same thing he would have known Shemuel would have said to him. The same thing he already knew.
But everybody knew.
Everybody knew.
Everybody knew Shemuel anointed David king.
What he was perceiving was the inevitable. The inevitability of his own stupidity. Yeah. But was that a prophecy?
It was.
Was it a prophecy from Yah?
It was.
Did he use the witch of Endor? Endor?
He did.
He did.
But it wasn't. Just to make it clear, it isn't Shemuel. If you go, you can read Hanoch to see what happens to the spirits of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other references besides that.
Mm-hmm.
No one goes to heaven when they die. No one goes to hell when they die. Everybody just dies and sleeps until the final judgment.
Because that would kind of destroy the purpose of the judgment, would it not? I'm just going to try to adjust everything a little bit here, get a little bit more comfortable. So, now that we have that understood, that we know that prophecy can come from just about anybody whom Yah chooses. But for some people, it's almost as though their entire being is foretelling prophecy. One of these such people is Yehosha, or the Savior, Yah who saves, right? So we're going to start off in Yehosha today. I'll start off with chapter 1. We'll get through it as quickly as possible, but in a regular, methodic, and meticulous fashion. All right, if this video has to go to a part 1, part 2, and part 3, that's fine. If we don't get through all the chapters, we're willing to take as much time as we need to get through it thoroughly for everyone to understand. I'll start with chapter 1. Ak Yosai, you go to chapter 2, and Ak Obed, if we have time, chapter 3, okay? We'll discuss at the end of the reading and see if we can line some stuff up and gain understanding. And it came to be after the death of Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, that Yahweh spoke to Yehosha, son of Nun, the assistant of Moshe, saying, Moshe, my servant, is dead. So now arise, pass over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads I have given to you, as I spoke to Moshe. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun is your border. No man is going to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moshe, so I am with you. I do not fail you, nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you are to let this people inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, to guard to do all the Torah which Moshe, my servant, commanded you. Do not turn from it right or left, so that you act wisely wherever you go. Do not let this book of the Torah depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you guard it to do according all that is written in it. But then you shall make your way prosperous and act wisely. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, nor be discouraged, for Yahweh your Elohim is with you wherever you go. And Yehosha commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the midst of the camp and command the people, saying, Prepare food for yourselves. Within 3 days you are passing over this Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you to possess. And Yehosha spoke to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and to half the tribe of Manasseh, saying, Remember the word which Moshe, servant of Yahweh, commanded you, saying, Yahweh your Elohim is giving you rest, and he shall give you this land. Let your wives, your little ones, and your livestock stay in the land which Moshe gave you beyond the Jordan. But you shall pass over your brothers, before your brothers in fives, all your brave fighters, and shall help them, until Yahweh has given your brothers rest as unto you. So shall they also take possession of the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving them. Then you shall return to the land of your possession, and shall possess that which Moshe the servant of Yahweh gave you beyond the Jordan toward the rising of the sun. And they answered Yehosha, saying, all that you have commanded us we do, and wherever you send us we go. According to all that we obeyed Moshe, so we obey you. Only let Yahweh your Elohim be with you, as he was with Moshe. Whoever rebels against your mouth and does not obey your words, and all that you command him, is put to death. Only be strong and courageous. Hallelujah. Anything stand out to anybody? Immediately.
The first thing is this is y'all telling Yehosha, okay, now it's your turn to leave. And giving him advice on how to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Never forget the Torah. Think about this day and night. Meditate on it, which we are all encouraged to do.
What's a repeat? Something that's repeated over and over and over. Two things that he tells them to remember to be.
Be of good courage.
And
Do not fear.
be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. Let's look at what the definition of strong is. What would you say the definition of strong is?